A very good morning to everyone. It is my pleasure to introduce today's speaker for our online health talk on World Parkinson's Disease Awareness. We are honored to have Dr. ARYA, a dedicated professional with 7 to 8 years of experience in the field of naturopathy and yoga. She is currently serving as medical officer and assistant professor at JSS Institute of Naturopathy and Yogic Sciences. In addition, she is heading the Department of Anatomy, where she has been actively involved in teaching, clinical practice, and guiding students with great commitment. Dr. Arya brings with her a strong academic background, clinical expertise, and a passion for spreading awareness about health and holistic healing. Today, she will be sharing valuable insights on Parkinson's disease, helping us better understand its causes, symptoms, and management through an integrative approach. So, without further delay, I invite Dr. Arya to take over the session. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Dr. Preeti, for your warm welcome. So, good morning, everyone. Today, we observe this day as World Parkinson's Day. So, we join a global community to raise awareness about this condition. Parkinson is a neurodegenerative disorder. So, primarily caused by the loss of dopamine. So, what is dopamine? It is a happy hormone that is secreted in our brain. Okay, so this deficiency of this hormone can lead to a disease called Parkinson's. So today we will be exploring the science behind it and how holistic approach, that is we in naturopathy and yoga, how we can manage this deadly Parkinson's disease and improve the quality of life. So coming to the epidemiology and the global survey, if you see, according to the recent surveys, over 10 million people worldwide are living with Parkinson's disease. 1.5 times more common in men than women. And interestingly, a survey of patients using complementary therapies, that is like yoga, meditation, and yoga, has showed 70% experienced a marked improvement in their quality of life and particularly in the balance and mood. When integrated approaches like naturopathy, acupuncture, and hydrotherapy, yoga, which are all integrated and given or treated the patients. So you can see the general symptoms you have already might have experienced with the symptoms, or you have seen the symptoms of the patients in Parkinson's, especially in elderly people. There will be very slow movement. There is a special gait, how they walk, that is called as Parkinson gait. Rigidity of the muscles will be there. There will be no expression in their face, like mask, as if they have put a mask on their face, and tremors will be there. There will be slow reaction. Well, whenever we give something, they will be taking the object very slowly or grasping it very, very slowly. So their walking, their actions, everything will be very, very slow. And the most important consequence that we see in patient is they will have a frequent fall, that they will lack their body balance, which may lead to frequent falls. Okay. So we are dividing the symptoms into two important spectrum. One is motor symptoms, that is the physically motion, that is the movement of the patient. We can see some of the symptoms. Other than that, there is a non-motor symptoms. So this non-motor symptoms comes too early. That is an early sign or indication or a warning that is given to us. These sort of or spectrum of symptoms are called non-motor symptoms. Some symptoms that we can visually see in the patients. So the motor symptoms include primary motor symptoms like tremors. So they will be shaking, continuous shaking of movements will be there. Bradykinesia, that is movement becomes very, very slow and making it the simple task with like buttoning a shirt or walking makes them very, very difficult. Then rigidity. Their body will be very, very rigid, very, very stiff. Okay. Then the postural instability. The patient feels very, very difficult in balancing and coordination and leading to high risk of fall also. Coming to the non-motor symptoms is anosmia, that is loss of smell. Even before 10 years of the onset of Parkinson disease, the patient may experience anosmia, that is, there will be complete abstinence of sense of smell. Then sleep disorders, acting out dreams or chronic insomnia. There will be chronic insomnia that can also lead to a very, very problematic thing. And cognitive changes. Cognitive changes like they will be facing very difficult in multitasking, memory, and slow thinking. They forget stuffs very, very easily. There will be mood swings in the patients, such as depression, anxiety, are very common due to the chemical changes in the brain. So dopamine is a neurotransmitter that transmits the signals. So when that is lacking, we can see the symptoms move both in motor as well as non-motor system also. So a decade before the tremor. So even after the starting of tremor, patients feel severe consequences. But the onset of tremor, before the onset of tremors, we can see so many symptoms in patients like severe constipation will be there, and anosmia, as I already told you, sleep disorders. These are the symptoms which we clinically don't see. So we don't think that it may lead to a Parkinson's disease. So before 5 to 10 years, we can see these symptoms in patients, which we can take it as a warning sign so that it may not worsen. So what is dopamine? So dopamine is a neurotransmitter or a chemical hormone that is secreted in the brain. Substantia nigra, it is the place in the midbrain which secretes the dopamine. Okay. So dopamine is very essential for rewards, like whenever we having pleasurely things, shopping, eating our favorite foods. This can lead to the production of dopamine. And any movements, for the movements we need dopamine. For the feeding of the baby, that is milk production, we need dopamine. And when there is dopamine urge, it can also lead to addiction also. So why there is a dopamine deficiency? What causes the dopamine deficiency is like unhealthy food, poor diet, no control over our or monitoring our health conditions. There is lack of protein. We eat foods which is lacking in protein. Obesity is one of the reason. Alcohol withdrawal. So when the patient decides not to take alcohol anymore, it can also lead to deficiency of dopamine. Stress and drug abuse. These are the main causes of dopamine deficiency. So coming to the mechanism, how this dopamine is secreted and what happens in our body. அப்படின்னு பார்த்தோம்னா physiologically, the Parkinson's involve the loss of cells in the substantia nigra. You can see in the picture, this is substantia nigra, which is a place in the midbrain, which produces dopamine. So we can also see a protein buildup in this area, which is called as alpha synuclein protein. So this protein will be building up in the brain, which can lead to the deficiency of the dopamine. There is a mechanism called vagus nerve. That is, vagus nerve is one of the longest cranial nerve. Cranial nerve in the sense, the nerve that is coming directly from the brain. That is the nerve which mostly supplies our organs like heart, lungs, liver, stomach, all organs. It is supplied by the vagus nerve. So vagus nerve tone, activity correct, it will lead to a healthy life. Okay. So this vagus nerve, through the vagus nerve, there is the passage of this protein from the gut. So when there is dysbiosis, I will be explaining in the further slides. When you have a poor diet, unhealthy dietary habits, what happens? The protein is produced in the stomach. This protein is traveled to the brain, that is substantia nigra, through this nerve called vagus nerve. It can lead to the deficiency in the dopamine, which is the main cause for our Parkinson disease. So this what the vagus nerve does is it acts as a bragg hypothesis. That is, the scientific theory suggests that the abnormal proteins, this alpha synuclein, first form in the enteric system, that is in the gut, due to the environmental toxins and inflammation. Due to the inflammation, or we are taking so much of unhealthy packed, tinned, processed foods. So these proteins travel like a toxin ladder. It uses the vagus nerve as a ladder to reach the brain's substantia nigra, eventually killing the dopamine producing cell. This is what happens. So this is why many patients suffer from constipation 10 to 15 years before the tremor, because vagus nerve is a nerve that indicates the brain for the deification. So this is lacking in the patient, which may lead to the constipation also. Then coming to the role of microbes, there is a very important things every individual should know to maintain a healthy lifestyle. We have a thing called microbes, that is good bacteria, which is needed for our gut. So there is a very crucial role these microbes are playing in our mental health as well as the physical health. In a healthy body, the gut bacteria produces a chain called short chain fatty acid that protect our brain. So in patients, that is Parkinson's disease patient, what happens? There is dysbiosis. That is, good bacteriaஸோட level ரொம்ப கம்மியா இருக்கு. There is bad bacteria's levels are high, which leads to a condition called dysbiosis. Okay, so when the dysbiosis is there, there is an imbalance where good bacteria decreases and bad bacteria increases. This lead to leaky gut. So there will be leakage in the gut. Then this harmful bacteria releases toxins that make lining leaky. It will start, the gut starts leaking. So which signals the brain to start neurodegenerative process, which is the main cause of this disease. Neurons என்ன ஆயிரும், degenerate ஆக ஆரம்பிக்கும். Cell death ஆகி, repair ஆகி. So it will lead to the deterioration of the nerve cells, which is the cause of our Parkinson disease. How this probiotics and prebiotic help? எப்படி இந்த good food சாப்பிடுறதுனால, prebiotic or probiotic foods சாப்பிடுறதுனால can help in improving our disease condition. அப்படின்னு பார்த்தோம்னா, probiotics are like soldiers. So these live beneficial bacteria help steal the leaky gut. So leaky guts வந்து close பண்ணிடும், so that there will be no leakage of gut. This reduces the local inflammation also and can also stimulate the vagus nerve. Okay, so vagus nerve is a parasympathetic nerve, so that it will give us a calming effect. So நம்ம அமைதியா, when we are doing meditation or when we are resting, when we are digesting, these things vagus nerve helps. So vagus nerve gives a signal to our brain that we are safe, we are stress free, we are relaxed and the மாதிரி. So this signals are properly sent to our brain. So the prebiotics are the food for the probiotics. Okay, these are the types of fibers that humans cannot digest. So these fibers cannot be digested by humans, but it is a food for the probiotics. So bacteria love to eat that, and when microbes ferment prebiotics, they produce butyrate, a powerful anti-inflammatory chemical. So inflammation is the most common cause of all majority of the diseases in our body. So this good bacteria produce this anti-inflammatory chemicals, so which protects our neurons. So brain neurons are protected. Now coming to the sources of the prebiotic and probiotic பார்த்தோம்னா probiotics naturally we can get through curd or yogurt, buttermilk, அந்த மாதிரி fermented பழைய சோறு, கஞ்சி, கம்மங்கூழ். So these fermented we can rice flour, மாவு for idli and dosa. These are all good in probiotics, rich in probiotics. What is prebiotic foods அப்படின்னு பார்த்தோம்னா garlic, onion, bananas, flax seeds, oats, legumes. These are the prebiotics which are very essential for the food of the probiotics. Coming to the yoga, how our yoga and this Parkinson is related. There is a word called neuroplasticity. That is how our yoga can help the brain. It stimulates the production of a chemical called brain-derived neurotropic factor, BDNF. அப்படிங்கிற ஒரு chemical produce பண்ணும் when we are doing yoga, which often we will call it as brain fertilizer. We call this BDNF as brain fertilizer. This protein supports the survival of the existing neurons and supports the neurons, encourages the neuroplasticity. அதாவது brain neuroplasticity-னா என்னன்னா the brain-ஓட ability to create new neural pathway to bypass the damaged areas and help to maintain our motor function. இதுக்கெல்லாம் ஹெல்ப் பண்ற அந்த விஷயத்தை தான் நம்ம நியூரோபிளாஸ்டிசிட்டின்னு சொல்றோம். ஸோ பிரெயினோட எபிலிட்டி டு கிரியேட் நியூரல் பாத்வே. இதுக்கு யோகா ஹெல்ப் பண்ணுது. வை? பிகாஸ் வைல் டூயிங் யோகா வி ப்ரொடியூஸ் அ கெமிக்கல் கால் BDNF. Okay. Then there is one more concept called GABA and tremor management. That is one of the most visible symptom of Parkinson is tremors. So scientific studies shows that yoga increases the level of GABA, which is produced in our pituitary glands. And this GABA is an inhibitory neurotransmitter and that acts as a calming effect. ஸோ கண்டினியூஸா அந்த சிக்னல் போயிட்டே இல்லாம பாடியை வந்து காமா வச்சுக்கும் இந்த GABA. So GABA is an inhibitory neurotransmitter இல்லையா? So by increasing the GABA, the yoga helps to overfire the neurons, which can lead to visible reduction in the tremors and which can also lead to visible reduction in the muscle rigidity also, which is the most common symptoms that you can see in the Parkinson, and people are suffering with tremors and rigidity more. So this GABA acts as a brake pedal. Okay, relax அப்படின்னு ஒரு brake pedal மாதிரி act ஆகுது. So researchers using MRI has shown that just 60 minutes of yoga can increase the GABA levels in our brain. So vagal stimulation, yoga poses, especially those who are involving in the neck, chest related or stressful yogasanas, can stimulate the vagal nerve, and this stimulates the signal to brain to release the GABA, which immediately lowers the overfiring. Over signal வந்துட்டே இருக்கிறது, tremor ஆகிட்டே இருக்கிறது, this and all will be stopping. The anti-anxiety effect அப்படின்னு சொல்றாங்க. The higher the GABA levels counteract the high cortisol. So GABA level எவ்வளவு தூரம் நம்ம பாடியில அதிகமாகுதோ கார்டிசோலோட லெவல் கம்மியாகும். Okay, which we can see in the patients like Parkinson's. So which leads to mobilize stabilize the mood swings and muscle control. Coming to the pranayama and yoga. In naturopathy and yoga, we give mainly pranayama for these kind of patients. So vagal tone refers the activity and functional strength of the vagus nerve, which is primarily component of our parasympathetic nervous system. Because this nerve acts as a physical bridge between the gut and the brain. Okay, so its tone determines how effectively your body can get the transition from the state of stress to the state of repair. Why vagal tone is important in improving the critical mechanism or goal in controlling the symptoms in Parkinson. அப்படின்னா நான் ஆல்ரெடி சொன்ன மாதிரி it acts as a brake pedal. vagal tone நல்லா இருந்துச்சுன்னா பாடிக்கு ஒரு brake pedal மாதிரி. Okay, so high vagal tone allows the body to activate the parasympathetic system. There are two types of nervous system, that is parasympathetic and sympathetic. So sympatheticல நம்ம high stressed இருக்கிறப்ப alert இருக்கிறப்ப இருக்கக்கூடிய fight and fight mechanismனு சொல்லுவாங்க. In parasympathetic we will be very calm, relaxed, composed. So in the parasympathetic activity is increasing during the practice of meditation and pranayama. So this shutdowns the fight or fight mechanism and lowers the cortisol level, which is very, very important. Cortisol is a stress hormone. அதோட லெவல் வந்து ரொம்ப கம்மியாகுது during the practice of yoga, meditation and pranayama. So this stimulates the vagus nerve to release this GABA also. GABA increase ஆச்சு அப்படின்னா ஆட்டோமேட்டிக்கா cortisol level கம்மியாகும், which is very, very essential to manage such type of diseases. So in our system, we also use hydrotherapy as a tool. So hydrotherapy, abdina, it is a versatile therapeutic method that we use water for the treatment of diseases. Okay. In the hydrotherapy use பண்றதுனால என்ன? So many patients ask us why we are put into water or we are sitting in water for 10 to 15 minutes. What is going to happen? We have the same tub in our house, in our bathrooms also. Why you are using these type of treatments as tool அப்படின்லாம் கேட்பாங்க. So what is the science behind it அப்படிங்கறது I think everyone should know, so that the mindset regarding this hydrotherapy can change. So the hydrostatic pressure of the water causes shear stress on the walls of the blood vessels. So water the pressure வந்து நம்ம blood vessel மேல ஒரு pressure கொடுக்குது. We are calling it as shear stress. இது என்ன பண்ணுது? It triggers production of nitric oxide, which is a gas that is produced in the healthy wall of the blood vessel. Okay. So it is a natural gas which produces vasodilatation. அதாவது blood vessel சுருங்கி இருக்கிற blood vessel நல்லா விரிச்சிரும். Vasodilatation அப்படின்னா blood vessel வந்து பிரியும். பிரியறப்ப என்ன ஆகும்னா blood circulation நம்ம பாடியில நல்லா நடக்கும். அதனால blood circulation நடக்குது அப்படின்னாவே டாக்ஸின்ஸ் அங்க தங்கி இருக்கிற அக்குமுலேட் ஆயிருக்க டாக்ஸின்ஸ் will be flushed out and blood supply will enhance the speedy recovery or repairing of the tissues also. So this water pressure effect, அதாவது hydrostatic pressure அப்படின்னு நம்ம சொல்றது, when a patient enters a hydrotherapeutic pool, the water rushes against their body and it causes the pressure. This gently squeezes the blood vessel to produce this nitric oxide. Okay. Then this nitric oxide is a powerful vasodilator, நான் ஆல்ரெடி சொன்ன மாதிரி, which gives the blood supply. So இதனால oxygen to brain wider ஆகுது. So wider blood vessel means more oxygen rich blood is going to the brain, mainly substantia nigra and other brain also, brain area also. And it also reduces the inflammation in our body. Now coming to the diet therapy. naturopathyல நம்மள yoga, meditation, pranayamas இல்லாம hydrotherapy இல்லாம we use diet as a very big tool in the Parkinson's disease. Before entering into that, we should know what is antioxidant and what is oxidative stress அப்படிங்கறதெல்லாம் நமக்கு தெரியணும். ஸோ இப்போ உங்க செல் வந்து ஒரு சின்ன என்ஜின் மாதிரி, அது வந்து ஒர்க் ஆகுறப்போ என்ன ஆகும் அப்படின்னா, நம்ம ஸ்ட்ரெஸ் ஆகுறோம், இல்ல பொல்யூஷன்ல எக்ஸ்போஸ் ஆகுறோம், இல்லைன்னா கார்பனேட்டட் ட்ரிங்க்ஸ், இல்லைன்னா அசிடிக் ஃபுட்ஸ் எல்லாம் சாப்பிட்றப்போ நம்ம பாடியில ப்ரொடியூஸ் ஆகுற ஒரு விஷயம் தான் ஃப்ரீ ரேடிக்கல்ஸ் அப்படின்னு சொல்றது. அப்போ இந்த செல் பாத்தீங்கன்னா, இதோட ஒரு அவுட்டர் செல்ல ஒரு எலக்ட்ரான் வந்து அன்பேர்டா இருக்கு. ஓகே. அப்போ நம்ம எப்போ ஆன்டி ஆக்சிடென்ட் ரிச் ஃபுட்ஸ் சாப்பிட்றோம் அப்படின்னாவோ, இல்ல யோகா அண்ட் பிராணாயாமா எக்ஸசைஸ் எல்லாம் பண்றப்போ நம்ம பாடியில ஆன்டி ஆக்சிடென்ட் ப்ரொடியூஸ் பண்ணும். இந்த ஆன்டி ஆக்சிடென்ட்ஸ் என்ன பண்ணும்? ஒரு எலக்ட்ரானை ஃப்ரீ ரேடிக்கல்ஸுக்கு கொடுத்து ஸ்டெபிலைஸ் பண்ணும். இப்படி ஸ்டெபிலைஸ் பண்ணல, ஃப்ரீ ராடிக்கல் நம்ம பாடியில சுத்திட்டே இருக்கு அப்படின்னா, இட் வில் லீட் டு த டேமேஜ் ஆஃப் த செல்ஸ். நம்ம பாடியில இருக்க எல்லா செல்ஸையும் டேமேஜ் பண்ணும், டீஜெனரேட் பண்ணும், ஈஸியா ஏஜிங் ஆகிற ப்ராசஸை ஃபாஸ்டன் பண்ணும். இதனால நம்ம பாடியில ஈஸியா நெக்ஸ்ட் டிசீஸ் வந்துட்டே இருக்கும். தட் இஸ் த ரீசன் இஃப் யூ டூ yoga, pranayama, meditation or exercise, or if you eat healthy foods like fruits, vegetables, uncooked foods, இதெல்லாம் சாப்பிட்றப்போ ஆன்டி ஆக்சிடென்ட்ஸ் அதுல ரொம்ப ரிச்சா இருக்கு. இதனால என்ன ஆகும்னா பாடியில ப்ரொடியூஸ் ஆகிற ஃப்ரீ ரேடிக்கல்ஸை அது வந்து ஸ்டெபிலைஸ் பண்ணும். அன்ஸ்டேபிள் மாலிகுல் வந்து ஸ்டெபிலைஸ் ஆயிடும். இப்போ இந்த பார்க்கின்சன்ஸ் டிசீஸ்ல பார்த்தோம்னா சப்ஸ்டன்ஸா நைக்ரா அப்படிங்கிற ஒரு பர்டிகுலர் ஏரியால இருந்து அது டேமேஜ் பண்ணுது. அதனாலதான் பார்க்கின்சன்ஸ் டிசீஸ் வருது. ஸோ எக்ஸசிவ் ஆக்சிடேட்டிவ் ஸ்ட்ரெஸ் இஸ் ஒன் ஆஃப் த பிரைமரி ரீசன் ஃபார் த damage in the substanza nigra. ஸோ நம்ம பாடிக்கு இப்போ ஆன்டி ஆக்சிடென்ட்ஸ் தேவைன்னு புரிஞ்சிருச்சு. இது எங்க இருந்தெல்லாம் கிடைக்கலாம்? நேச்சுரல் சோர்ஸ், பவர்ஃபுல் சோர்சஸ் அப்படின்னு பார்த்தோம்னா வைட்டமின் சி. வைட்டமின் சி ரிச் ஃபுட்ஸ் கண்டிப்பா எடுத்துக்கணும். சிட்ரஸ் ஃப்ரூட்ஸ் அந்த மாதிரி. இது வந்து பிரெயினோட என்விரான்மெண்ட்டை ப்ரொடெக்ட் பண்ணி நம்ம டிசீஸ்ல இருந்து நம்மளை ப்ரிவென்ட் பண்ணும். தென் வைட்டமின் இ, நேச்சுரல் நட்ஸ், என்ன நட்ஸா இருக்கலாம், ஆல்மண்ட்ஸ், வால்நட்ஸ், கோகோனட்ஸ் இதெல்லாம். தென் ஃபிளாவனாய்ட்ஸ், ஸோ பெர்ரிஸ் அந்த மாதிரி நேச்சுரல் ஃப்ரூட்ஸ் அண்ட் வெஜிடபிள்ஸ்லாம் ரிச்சா இருக்கு. குளூட்டோதயான், தீஸ் ஆர் ரிச் இன் ஸ்பீனாச், கீரை வகைகள் அதெல்லாம் நம்ம அதிகமா எடுத்துக்கலாம். ஸோ ஆக்சிடேட்டிவ் ஸ்ட்ரெஸ்ஸை ரொம்ப சிம்பிள் டேர்ம்ல சொல்லணும் அப்படின்னா, ஒரு ஆப்பிள நம்ம கட் பண்ணி ஓப்பன் பண்ணி வச்சோம்னா கொஞ்ச நேரத்துல அது ப்ரௌனிஷ் ஆகுது இல்லையா? இந்த ஒரு ஸ்டேட்டை தான் நம்ம ஆக்சிடேட்டிவ் ஸ்ட்ரெஸ் அப்படின்னு நம்ம சொல்றோம். ஸோ அது மேல நீங்க ஒரு லெமன் ஜூஸை, அதாவது ஆன்டி ஆக்சிடென்ட் லெமன் ஜூஸ் புழிஞ்சு விட்டீங்கன்னா அந்த டார்க்கான ப்ரௌன் ஆன ஏரியா மறுபடியும் ஃப்ரெஷ் ஆகும். ஸோ இதை வச்சு யூ கேன் ஈஸிலி அண்டர்ஸ்டாண்ட் த கான்செப்ட் பிட்வீன் ஆக்சிடேட்டிவ் ஸ்ட்ரெஸ் அண்ட் த ரோல் ஆஃப் ஆன்டி ஆக்சிடென்ட். Coming to the consequences, what are the consequences that patients really undergo after the disease அப்படின்னு பார்த்தோம்னா, லாஸ் ஆஃப் இண்டிபெண்டன்ஸ். ஸோ இன்னொருத்தவங்களை டிபெண்ட் பண்ணிட்டே இருக்கிற மாதிரி. ஸோ தே வில் பி லாஸ் ஆஃப் இண்டிபெண்டன்ஸ் அண்ட் தே வில் ஹாவ் டிஃபிகல்டி இன் டூயிங் டெய்லி திங்ஸ் லைக் ஈட்டிங்கா இருக்கலாம், பாத்திங். அவங்களோட ஓன் திங்ஸ் they cannot do it properly. Socially they will be isolated also. They will not be able to go for work and earn. So economically they will be in a risky state. And safety, which is one of the most important thing that we have to discuss, they will be having a frequent fall which can lead to further injuries also. Then there is a burden for the caregiver. So யாராவது ஒருத்தரை டிபெண்ட் பண்ணிட்டே இருக்கணும். So the caregiver has to bear a burden. Okay, so when we talk about Parkinson's, we only often see the tremors, but the patient real consequences is the care gap. So we have to take care of them. So the loss of their independence, their social connection ellame. This is why our holistic approach in naturopathy, nutrition and yoga is so vital. It is giving them their life back and not just stopping the shaking. So coming to the conclusion, we often view our body as a machine that breaks down, but science tells us it is a living system that can be rewired. While meditation manages the symptoms of Parkinson's, naturopathy and yoga changes the environment in which those symptoms exist. So by choosing targeted nutrition, we reduces the fire of inflammation, which is one of the most important cause of the disease. And by practicing yoga and pranayama, we stimulate the vagal tone so that the brain shift from a state of alarm to the state of repair. So we aren't just managing the disease through yoga and naturopathy, but we are systematically reclaiming our biological balance. So the doctor of future will give no medicine, but will interest his patient in the care of human frame, in diet and in the cause and the prevention of disease. That's a quote given by Thomas Edison. So I would like to conclude my section, and I wholeheartedly thank our management and our principal for this wonderful opportunity. Thank you all.
On behalf of all of us, I would like to extend our sincere thanks to Dr. Arya for her insightful and informative session on World Parkinson's Disease Awareness Day. We truly appreciate the time and effort you have taken to share your knowledge and expertise with us today. It has gotten comprehensive understanding of Parkinson's disease from its cause to clinical features to management through holistic naturopathy and yoga-based approach. So I would also like to thank all the participants for your active involvement and interest throughout the session. Once again, thank you, Dr. Arya, for an enriching session. Have a great day ahead.